Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I originally said Friday night I was going to do a live stream about talking about some things I wanted to discuss about, you know, the new CEO kind of placement at Stellantis. I know on Friday I posted an article on Mopar Insiders about Antonio Filosa. He is reportedly the top candidate for the CEO job at Stellantis, which would not be a bad thing. A lot of people have been saying, you know, oh God, you know, he's a foreigner and whatnot. But honest to God, he's actually been with the company since 1999. He was with Fiat before the whole merger with FCA. He had a lot of success. Because of the success he's had down in South America is one of the reasons why Stellantis is dominating the South American market, which is really good. But overall, he would be a great pick for a CEO. Out of all the people that we've heard were possible candidates going on, he would by far be the best one. So you got to look at it this way. He basically turned around the South American market. Can you save the live streams to the channel? Sometimes we can't catch them in time. They're deleted. Yeah, I can do that. I can do that. But anyways, no, there's been a whole lot of talk about Antonio Filosa and the whole situation with him. Basically, you know, is he a good candidate? Yes, I believe he would be a great candidate for Stellantis to be their CEO. He had a really good turnout down in South America. He became the Jeep CEO. He started turning things around with Jeep. And then all of a sudden he was tasked to basically take over a position where the former person who came in for a year basically destroyed all credibility with the company and its dealer body and its customers. And he's slowly been recovering that. He's basically been going to dealers, talking with them, having drastic meetings about, hey, we have stuff in the pipelines. However, we want to build stuff that customers want. And back in March 5th, he had a town hall with Tim Kuniskis basically saying that they were going to build vehicles that people want again. They want to go back to the old ways and start building products that people want, not products that are more lenient towards government compliance and stuff like that. So that will be a very interesting move forward. Now you got to remember, he's been the COO for just about almost a year now. But the thing is all this stuff that's going on right now actually was already in place. It was already in play when he became the COO. Now what he's doing is he's trying to build a reputation with the dealers again. Again, if you go back on Mopar Insiders, I posted an article a while back that 72% of the dealer body, well, at least I think it was out of like 700 dealers that did a survey, 72% of them said they had lost all credibility with Stellantis. They didn't trust them at all. So that's a huge, they're out of all the dealers, and this is including GM and Chevy and all them, or you know, Ford and all that. They by far were the worst ones with their dealer body actually with that response. I think the second to last one was, I can't remember what it was, but it was only like maybe like a 48%, and they were 72 of what they didn't trust. So again, he's got to do a lot of like damage control, a lot of damage control. So I didn't really think he was going to be a really, like, I knew he was one of the leading names going into it, but I didn't think they would take him seriously because they really like him in this position. The dealers love him. And I thought like he would be stuck in that position mainly because they would want somebody to do all this damage control like he's been doing. And he's been doing a fairly decent job of it. So we'll see. But it sounds like he's the leading candidate. And again, he won't be the bad person to choose. Now, the very interesting part was, if you go back and read my article on Friday, Reuters posted that there was rumors going around that Mike Manley was going to be the CEO candidate going forward. And I had mentioned that months ago on this channel. I talked about how I had heard rumors that basically AutoNation, who's been having a lot of trouble with their dealers, they were going to close a bunch of Chrysler dealers, and they went to basically Manley was at CTC and people had seen him, and I guess the rumors were talked about he was talking with them about possibly doing a CEO thing. I don't know what fell through, but Reuters said they reached out to his assistant and they never got a response. So who knows? I mean, it could be, you know, just rumors, but it's from what Reuters is saying, and Reuters is pretty dead on with their sources. It sounds like he was in fact a leading contender in this CEO race. So again, I think Filosa would be a really good CEO. He knows that. Here's the good part about him being a CEO. First of all, he was there at the formation of FCA. He was one of the proteges of Sergio Marchionne. He knows the American brands. Obviously, he's the one who was behind Jeep being so successful down in Brazil. A lot of people don't know that Jeep's second biggest market is Brazil. Not Canada, it's Brazil. Jeep's second biggest market is Brazil. Another thing is Ram. Their third largest market is Brazil. They are a premium brand down there. They're like Maserati is here. And the funny thing is that down in Brazil, there's a lot of agriculture. And a lot of the farmers have money. And obviously Ram has been just killing it. There should be an article coming up. If you go on 5th Gen Rams or HD Rams, my other two sites, you will be able to see an article today about their sales down in Brazil just last month. And they hit another record going into May. So the Rampage has been killing it. I don't know why that truck, they can't build that here. I would definitely postpone the mid-size truck, like I said before, and bring the Rampage here. Less competition in the segment, and they have a leader in the segment with that truck. It basically is a more premium option than the Maverick. But recently I had a chance to actually go see a used Maverick. I was actually looking at one just because they're cool little trucks. I like the Maverick. I think it's a really good looking truck. But I know why Ford sells them so cheap. You get inside and the interior plastic is some of the cheapest interior plastics you've ever seen. And you buy any used one, the plastics are all coming apart, like meaning not so much like pulling apart, but you can see scratches and scuffs. Like they're very cheap. They scuff really easy, and that's why they can sell them so cheaply. But you know, the thing is, if the Rampage came, it would have to be cheapened up. Front-wheel drive standard, not all-wheel drive like it is in Brazil. They would have to decontent one of the models, probably make it like a tradesman model. Right down there, they just introduced a Bighorn model, but it's diesel power only. So that diesel wouldn't make it here. But they do have the optional engine in those are the 2-liter Hurricane 4, which is in pretty much everything here. And they build them in Indiana, and the transmission, the 9-speed transmission, built in Indiana as well. So to me, Belvedere would be a great place for the Rampage to go forward and build a ton of those trucks. If they could build that truck even for, like, let's say, even $30,000 starting, that truck would be killer and it would sell tons and tons of like units. The Maverick, just because it's built in Mexico, Ford just announced that the Maverick price is going to go up, and it just went up for 2025 because they had a whole bunch of updates. Now it's got a bigger touchscreen and stuff like that. The truck went from being $23,000, now it's, well, prior to last week, it was $26,700, and now it's probably going to go up to about $29,000, which still, if you look at the market, that's not a bad price for a little pickup truck that fits in your garage. It does truck things, but it's not a hardcore pickup, and a lot of people don't use their pickups as hardcore pickup trucks. It's just, that's the way it is. So for 90% of the truck people out there, it would fit their lifestyle just fine. That's why the Maverick would be such a good, or the Rampage would be such a good placement here. But Filosa had such a good standing in South America and success down there that they put him in charge of Jeep up here. He was the one who came in, and the first thing he did was start cutting prices. The problem is it's not cuts that are enough, in my opinion at least. I think he cut that like $7,000 off the Wagoneer. The Wagoneer still isn't selling. That Wagoneer should be on par with what the Ram 1500 is, in my opinion. If they're going to build something like that, they need to take and make it very competitive. you know, the thing is like, you look at the Ram 1500, right? You look at a Bighorn model, it starts out about $50,000. You look at the Wagoneer, you're paying for the Wagoneer name, you're paying $60,000 for that thing. To me, it's not worth $60,000. I would like to see it at like 50. That's why I always wondered, why the hell didn't they go with their original plans and build a Durango version for like as a cheaper model? The problem is their formula. Jeep is not a Land Rover brand. I'm sorry, it just isn't. You know, Jeep needs to get back to basics and be the, you know, blue collar adventure brand that it was. So hopefully that stuff will change. Stellantis has to learn that they can't build all these brands as premium brands. They have to build products that are under $35,000 and make them affordable for everybody. That's their biggest problem, is there's no real affordable options. So hopefully they'll get that through their head. You can build special edition vehicles, you can do all you want, but it's not going to attract people if the price is too high. So we you know, the funny thing is like the 2026 Ram 1500 production is going to start very soon. We're going to see a Hemi in that. Everybody is already saying like, oh, it's going to be a premium cost. We don't know how much it's going to cost yet. We don't. There's been no pricing put forward. There's been dealers haven't seen it yet, as far as I know. Yeah, I mean, it'll be very interesting going forward. Now, Ram hasn't talked about the Hemi yet. They talked about the Pentastar still being in the new Tradesman Express model, but we are going to see something coming very, very soon. But hopefully there'll be an announcement of the 5.7, and then we even said on Mopar Insiders that the 5.7 will eventually make its way to Michigan, and there's a good reason why. You've seen the reason why recently. They started production back down in Mexico to build up units. The problem is they've built up units in Mexico. However, it's kind of put a kibosh on Hurricane production. So now they're sending all the Hurricane engines to Shap, and Warren Truck is down because they, you know, needed the engines for the Ram 1500 while the Wagoneer's not selling that well. So you got to kind of do something. And a lot of people say, hey, what about Trenton? Trenton would be a great place as well to build it. However, we just heard from our sources that Dundee looks to be the likely recipient of the engine. So that's to come. But I mean, there's a lot of things that Stellantis needs to do right now. I talked about it in the recent live stream, and hopefully Filosa knows, because obviously him being COO of North America, their biggest, you know, market, he will take that to advantage, and if he becomes the CEO and actually fix the things that needs to be done. For example, Trump's been really pushing the tariff thing. We've been talking a lot about that. And honest to God, you know, being an American, I see Trump's aspect of it. The thing is, I have a lot of buddies and friends in Windsor and in Brampton. And the problem with that is their jobs are on the line. And we've heard rumors about how certain plants can become multi-platform plants. Not just platform, but multi-vehicle plants. Let's put it that way. So like, for example, if they're building a Stella Large or a Stella Medium vehicle, they can build multiple vehicles. That might be coming, you know, forward. We don't know. There's been, what I've heard rumors of is there's been survey teams at several of the plants, including Brampton, including Belvedere, including Toledo. So they're surveying these plants to see what they can do, because they need to maximize U.S. production. Now, obviously, you're not going to switch over, you know, Warren Truck to be a unibody plant. It's just not going to happen. Is the Ram Heavy Duty going to come here? Probably not. The original plan back in 2018, Sergio Marchionne said it at the North American International Auto Show during a press conference, which I was there. He said that, hey, we're going to move Ram Heavy Duty production to Warren Truck alongside the Grand Cherokee, or not Grand Cherokee, I'm sorry, Grand Wagoneer and Wagoneer in 2020 is what he said. Now, we know those vehicles were launched later, the Wagoneer and Grand Wagoneer, but we only seen the Ram 1500 Classic stay. So there's a possibility that could happen. Will it likely? Probably not, because it's going to take a lot of time and a lot of money to move all that stuff. A lot of people don't understand that it takes several months to get things going. Even if you have the production going, just for example, when Toledo got rid of the Cherokee and moved production to Belvedere, you know, it took several months, even though they had the equipment and everything, to make sure that everything was hooked up on the line and stuff. It's not just something that happens overnight. And I think a lot of people expect things to like, oh, hey, they're just gonna do it. They're gonna do it right overnight and get things rolling. It's not how it's gonna go. We're not gonna see big change until probably another 1.5 years at least, when production gets switched around. We're also gonna see new vehicle launches. And a lot of people have been asking, hey, what about the Wagoneer S and the Recon? Will those be coming, because those are premium vehicles, will those be coming to the US? Those don't look like to be coming to the US at all, because what they're going to use those as is, because the tariffs are cheaper from Mexico, those are going to be replacements for like vehicles like the Grand Cherokee and the Wrangler in Europe. So yeah, don't expect those vehicles to come. However, there could be a possibility that the Cherokee, the new KM Cherokee, which is going to be a hybrid, and it's only going to be sold for North America and or basically, when I say North America, I mean the US and Canada. It's not going to be sold in Mexico, as far as I've heard, will be built possibly somewhere else. Belvedere could be a great place for that vehicle to be built. You know, it's going to have a 1.6 liter 4-cylinder engine that's going to be built at Dundee. It's going to have a hybrid transmission that's going to be built in Kokomo. So putting it at Belvedere would be a great spot, and it would make the you know, meet the requirements of that Trump, you know, the whole tariff thing, where and a vehicle has to be 80% built with U.S. components. It would be produced here. It would be free of tariffs. So to me, a lot more people are more appealed by the Cherokee than the Wagoneer, and even the Recon. The Recon itself, you know, a lot of people like the fact that they kind of like the looks of it, but a lot of people are upset that it's going to be battery electric only. Now, Filosa, when he was Jeep CEO, he talked about that going to possibly becoming a hybrid, but that won't be for a while. They're still working on the EV version, so who knows? But there's a lot of possibilities out there right now. We've seen, I was sent a supplier thing from one of our supplier friends, and they talked about extending the Durango production, which they did. Originally, there was supposed to be extending the WD Durango, which I'm in right now, extending the production of this till 2028 with an option to extend it into 2029. And they did, from what I heard last week, they did approve that 2029 extension. So the Durango will be around till 2029, the current generation. The next generation Durango has been postponed. Instead, we're hearing that they're working on another D-segment vehicle, which kind of bothers me, because I think they're building too many D-segment vehicles right now. They went from having 0 D-segment vehicles, now they got 3 Jeeps coming out, and they're going to have a Dodge and a Chrysler version as well. To me, if it was me running Jeep, I would have said, hey, we're going to build the Recon, name it the Cherokee, because it kind of looks like an XJ Cherokee because of the boxy shape on it, and introduce it with hybrid and battery electric powertrains right off the bat. That's what I would have done. But the honest to God's truth is you look at the actual thing, they got the Wagoneer S, which to me would make a better Dodge than it would a Wagoneer. You know, it's got premium touches and stuff, but 600 horsepower, all that jazz, it seems to me like it would be a way better Dodge than it would be a Jeep. The honest to God's truth is you got too many products coming in the D segment. You know, you got to do something about that. I wouldn't even mind if the Wagoneer S, honestly, I like the Wagoneer S. I think it's cool looking. I think it's actually a better value than the Dodge Charger Daytona. But if it was me, the Wagoneer S kind of should be in like an export only kind of vehicle, because obviously we get the big Wagoneers here and those aren't sold around the globe. But I don't know, I just think you're going to push too much product into one segment, even though it's the most competitive segment in the US. So who knows? But there's a lot of stuff going on. Filosa seems like he'd be a really good choice. I think ultimately, you know, I think he would solve a lot of the issues that we have. He knows the North American market now. He's been here for 2 years. Again, the dealers seem to love him, and he knows the product really well. That's the thing. He knows the product really, really well. He gets his hands dirty. He's not like most CEOs who are very hands-off. again, he's the one that goes to the dealers and talks to them and deals with the stuff directly. Matter of fact, he's so good at it that they put him in charge of all of the company's quality control issues, not just for North America, but for all of the company a couple of months ago. So in January, he got that job, and now he's in charge of all quality control issues. So his goal is to basically bring back the standards of how they were 5-6 years ago when, well, FCA was winning all those, you know, quality awards from JD Power and stuff. So hopefully they can do that again. There's no reason why they can't. Simply, there's just no reason why they can't do that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, it's going to be a very interesting few. Like I'm expecting we're going to hear something probably by the end of the month for the CEO position, especially from what we've been hearing and seeing on Bloomberg and Reuters and what people have been saying within the company. I wouldn't doubt probably around the Memorial Day weekend, like a couple weeks, that we're going to hear something official from Stellantis. So it's getting close. But other than that, that's really what I wanted to say on Friday. I'm sorry I didn't get around to getting back online. I was spending time with my son and spending time with the family, and I had a lot of fun this weekend driving the 300 out there and driving around and stuff. So this next weekend we're gonna have a lot of fun. So if you've been following the channel, sorry, you can see how rough Michigan roads are and bouncing all around the place. If you've been watching the channel, you probably heard me say about getting a Dodge Charger Daytona. And honestly, I'm going to close this for a second. Honestly, it looks like it will be a done deal. I've talked to the dealer, got pricing. It looks really good. And realistically, I will probably pick that up maybe Thursday or Friday morning at the latest. We're going to trade in the wife's Renegade. We're going to keep this Durango. We do all of our family adventures in this thing. It's a 2021 Durango RT and I just hit 40,000 miles on it yesterday. So thing's pretty mint shape. It's got pretty much every option except for the tow and go package. So, you know, this is like the perfect vehicle for my wife. She likes having the 3 rows and air conditioned seats and all that. So, but Charger Daytona should be a lot of fun. And I will tell you this, the car that I drove did have the update. Now, I drove basically a fast feedback car back in December, what was it, like early December, before the cars were even launched. And there were some issues with that car. It was fine, it drove fine and everything. I was really impressed with the way it drove. But it didn't seem fast, and even Butter the Insider was on my channel talking about the car, and he said he drove it a couple times. He's drove a couple of them. God, my mouth's really dry. My throat's tickling. Anyways, Butter was saying about how the car just didn't feel fast, and I was like, yeah, I kind of agree with you. I didn't feel like it's fast, but I thought a lot of it had to do with the, you know, the openness of the new interior, because the new interior layout, you don't feel like you're cocooned anymore in plastic. You know, like in the old, like the Challenger and the Charger, the dash kind of fitted around you. You had a really high dash. This one has the double tiered dash. The car feels really open. However, with the update, throttle response and everything, so much better. So much better. The update completely redoes how the car handles, or not handles, but just performs out. I can't wait to actually to get my hands on it and charge it, because a lot of people had problems with charging, and supposedly the update fixes all the charging problems, fixes the 12-volt battery issues, but throttle response for sure. I mean, it felt a lot faster. I mean, it's on par with a Grand Cherokee Trackhawk for performance. So overall, I was really impressed with the car. I think it'll be a lot of fun, and it's going to be here just in time for this weekend, because this weekend, I am going to, there's going to be an article on Mopar Insiders about it, probably tomorrow morning. There is going to be a Stellantis Design Cars and Coffee event this weekend at the Chrysler Tech Center. So I will be for sure there with the new Charger. So that should be a lot of fun as well. But there's going to be a whole bunch of car events coming up. The 300, we've taken that out a couple times already this year. You're going to see more of that. We're supposed to hopefully next month, possibly maybe take it up to Chase Classic Motors. They got to call us and let us know. They're going to like work on some things with the car. We're hopefully going to get new tires on it. Probably jack it up a little bit with the suspension, so it rides a little like less firm. And they're going to tune it and stuff. So hopefully that should make the car a lot better. The car already is a lot of fun. We had the T-tops off on it on Saturday. It was like 75 degrees. It was nice. So, and that car gets a lot of attention. I'm shocked with that 79 300 how many people, like how much attention that car grabs, because I didn't think it would. I just didn't. I didn't. People, to me, my generation didn't really like the 70s kind of cars. We're all about muscle cars. And now it seems like my generation's really liking the 70s cars because they're affordable. So, but it's funny because we've gone to like 5 or 6 car shows now, and everybody's like, there's people that come out and they're like, oh, that's a 300, that's a really rare car. And there's people, like the first time we took it to a car show, we're backing into a parking spot, and some lady come running over, and she had a Cordoba like right across from us, and she was like, oh, my husband was going to buy me this car for our first anniversary, and I love this car so much. We ended up taking it to another place. Some guy offered us cash for it. And then this past weekend, we ended up running into another one out at High Octane Cars and Coffee out in Waterford, Michigan. And the guy had a 79, and it only had 29,000 miles, where ours has 46. And his was pretty pristine. He had just bought it. Matter of fact, I did an article about it on Mopar Insiders last summer before he bought it. It was actually the same Bring a Trailer ad that he bought it off of. But his car didn't have T-tops, and it had fewer options, but it was really nice, really nice. So we'll see. I mean, there's going to be a lot of stuff going on this summer. Again, I'm waiting to hear about Roadkill Nights, what's happening with that, because Motor Trend obviously was sold. Dodge will probably do something for sure. Again, we don't know if it's going to be at M1 Concourse or if they're going to do something else. The thing is racing on, I'll be honest with you, a lot of people have been asking about Roadkill Nights. Out in front of M1 Concourse 2 years ago, they ripped up the road. And the road was basically 4 lanes before with a small median in the middle. However, now they put a Michigan left. So if you don't know what a Michigan left is, it's where you go past the intersection and then basically turn around and come back to do an actual left turn. Well, they put one of those in front of M1 Concourse. And the problem is it made the road so you can't, it's not straight anymore. It's on an angle. So halfway where the shutdown zone would be at the track, it goes off onto an angle. So I don't know if they're going to be raced or not. Last year it sounded like they were bringing it back, and literally 24 hours before the event was supposed to go on, the city of Pontiac said, no, you're not doing it on Woodward. So that's why they rushed to put it together inside M1 Concourse. And it wasn't a bad actual run down the straightaway there. It was actually kind of fun. The problem was they didn't have the time to really set up the stands right. The fans kind of sat back. There was no live stream. I think me and one other guy were the only ones live streaming the whole race. I didn't do the whole race. I probably did maybe, I don't know, 1 round of eliminations, and that was it. So hopefully this year we'll be doing a lot more there, and hopefully there'll be hopefully it'll be a lot more fun, because they'll be able to, if they have to do it inside the track, they'll figure something out. But I wouldn't be surprised if they move it somewhere else, honestly. So we'll have to see, but I'm pretty sure Dodge will bring that back, because that kicks off the whole Woodward Dream Cruise week. So we got Dream Cruise coming. Again, I'm going to probably be doing the emergency vehicle parade if I can get it, to get my friends to do it with me. That was a lot of fun. Last year we rode on an old 1975 or 6 Ford brush truck, which was really cool, from I think it was Oklahoma. Got to ride with that with the family. That was a lot of fun. And then there's several parades and stuff like that. Last year we also walked through Mustang Alley, which is pretty cool, because a lot of you guys don't know this because I never posted it on this channel. I did have a 2014 Ford Mustang convertible recently. I actually bought it for my wife, and she had it for about 5 months and got T-boned, and they totaled the car out. So unfortunately, that car was like in mint shape too. It had really low miles. I was really lucky to find it. It was a where did it come from? It came from Kansas, and it was always garaged. I mean, never seen snow. It was just absolutely gorgeous shape, and it was ruby red, the color she loves. So, you know, unfortunately, the thing was it got wrecked. The sad thing was that car shouldn't have been totaled. That car basically tracked straight and everything else, but the collision shop said, oh yeah, we had somebody come in and the frame's bent. I didn't see anything tweaked on the frame. I seen the sheet metal up front tweaked, basically shifted over about 1.5 inches. But the lady hit her at really low speeds, but they said it was enough to total the car out. So I actually made money on the car, so I wasn't too upset about it. But nonetheless, I was pretty sad because it was such a nice car. I'm sure they said it was supposed to go to Copart. I never seen it cross Copart at all. I'm pretty sure that the collision shop bought it, fixed it, and sold it to somebody, or somebody there took it, because it was a really nice car. It was fully loaded for a 2014. It was a Mustang Club of America edition, so it had the V6 in it, which is fine for my wife. But it got like 31 miles a gallon, which was really good. 300 horsepower, great engine, way better than the EcoBoost engines. And just a beautiful car. It was super mint. So I was kind of sad about that, but we'll probably do Mustang Alley for sure. Again, there's a lot of stuff going on. And in July, we're going to be going to Carlisle, the Carlisle Nationals for Chrysler's 100th anniversary. That's going to be a lot of fun. I've never been there. That's been on my bucket list to do. So I already got an Airbnb set up for that for 5 days. So there's going to be a lot of stuff going on, especially on this channel. We're going to be doing a lot of live streams. We're going to be doing a lot of videos. I'm going to still try to do my day-to-day videos, but there's going to be a lot more, especially with that new Charger Daytona coming. There's a lot of things. Like, I'm buying that, and the thing is I'm not just buying that for a content car. Like, people are like, oh God, you know, all these YouTubers are buying it for a content car. The car will be a Mopar Insider's long-term car, but I'm buying it because, one, I think the new Charger looks freaking badass. I love that car. I don't care what anybody says. I think it looks great. The second reason why is the deal I got on it. Because no one's buying them, it made it even more affordable for somebody who, you know, considering this was going to be a daily driver for me. It's not going to be like, oh, it's going to be a weekend car. This is going to be an actual daily driver. I've had 2 2014 Dodge Chargers. I had a 2023 Chrysler 300C. I want something that's fun, and this basically has almost Hellcat-like power with all-wheel drive, which is perfect for me because I live in Michigan. So, and I don't drive a lot. The thing is, I work from home. Throughout the week, I maybe do, you know, I don't know, probably like 50 miles. But then on the weekends, being a dad, you know, I'm always going places, taking the kids, going up to see my parents, which are like an hour away. If I go up to see the wife's parents, they're 2.5 hours away. So I'm always traveling on the weekends. Weekends are always busy for me. But like today, I went to the chiropractor. That was 20 miles. That's by far the biggest driving thing that I've done, except for the weekend, in all week. So it'll be fun. I think a lot of people will be shocked, especially after the update, how great those cars are. Now, the car that I'm getting is all black, which I'm not a huge fan of. I actually looked for a Destroyer Gray, because my Durango's Destroyer Gray. I love the whole... Oh, there's a bunch of Warlock trucks. A car carrier going next to me. There's a bunch of Warlock trucks on it. I wanted Destroyer Gray, or maybe Peel Out, or that Ludicrous color. The problem was those were all like late additions to the 2025 model year, and almost all of those cars, with a very seldom few, are not plus cars. So meaning, like, if you look at them, they don't have like the DRLs that go all the way across. They don't have a lot of the creature comforts. And ultimately, I wanted, if I was going to get a Charger Daytona electric car, I wanted all of the goodies that I could get. This car only is missing the carbon and suede package, which was fine. to me, the carbon and sway package is nice, but I don't have to have it. And the only other downfall of the car is that it's not a sun and sound group car. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the new Charger's glass roof to begin with. I don't like the fact that you can't you can't open it. Like here, I have a sunroof. Almost all my cars have sunroofs. So by this Charger not having the glass, I could care less because you can't open it. The only bad thing is you get the Alpine system. Like I'm gonna have the 550 watt Alpine system, which doesn't bother me. If I wanted the like 900 watt system, you have to get that sun and sound group, but whatever. So it saves me a few bucks there. But ultimately, it's got everything I want. Track pack, of course, plus group, and, you know, basically the stage 2 package, which is going to be standard for 2026 anyways. So that car should be a lot of fun. And again, this week, we'll pick it up, and I'll be documenting that stuff and going through all the new additions of the features and stuff like that. Plus, I've never owned an electric car. I've always been a component of, hey, I hate EVs. And it wasn't that this car has changed my mind about EVs. It really hasn't. I'm not a huge EV person. I do like the instant performance of the cars. The problem is the infrastructure is not there. And here in Detroit, we just don't have the infrastructure. I looked at fast chargers. I downloaded an app and started going through fast charging stations around here. And there's not a whole lot of them. That's the funny part. There's not a lot of fast charging stations in the area. And the ones that do have fast charging are pretty expensive for what they are, because now we're starting to see gas drop a little bit. And for what you pay to charge these cars, depending on where you charge them and what time you charge them and what service you charge them on, you could be paying even more to charge an electric car to not go as far as you would a gas car. So it's definitely going to be a lifestyle change. It's going to be fun trying to, and frustrating to see where I can charge this stupid thing. You know, it's a whole bunch of learning curves. And I think it's something going forward where I don't think we're ever going to see the end of electric cars. I just don't. I think as battery technology gets better, we'll eventually see more of an adoption to them. But like in March, worldwide, there was more EVs and hybrids sold than ever before. So I don't think that's going to be a big, you know, changing factor. I think we're still going to see people that want EVs, and as EVs get better, you know, I might as well get into the learning curve and see what the whole EV lifestyle is about. Again, I don't travel far, so for me, it makes sense. If I was traveling long distance to work every day, I would probably not get an EV, because to me, they're not beneficial. But for me, you know, charging the car and having a charger at home, which I'll have to install, the whole thing is like, if I can charge it from home and I go out for a little bit and I come back, it's not going to bother me. The long distance travels, hey, I'm going to go down to Indianapolis to Indy Motor Speedway, that's going to be challenging. So we'll see. Again, it's going to be very interesting learning curve for me. I think I'm kind of looking forward to it. It's going to be kind of self-rewarding trying to fight range anxiety. So, but yeah, thanks for joining me. I just figured I'd do a quick little live stream while I'm in the car and talk about Filosa a little bit. Like I said, I think he'll be a great addition if he becomes the CEO, which I'm pretty sure he will be. I think he'll be a great addition to Stellantis. Like, not just, obviously he's already working for them and he's doing a good job, but I think he'll be even a better CEO than what we originally think, because again, he's coming from the North American market now. He knows this market. The European market, you know, they might have a bigger electrical infrastructure than us for EVs and stuff like that, but honest to God's truth, their sales aren't nothing like ours. Last year they were, because sales dropped so much for Stellantis here. The thing is, if they can fix the sales, North America is by far their biggest moneymaker. So they need to do something like that. And I think Filosa would be really good at it. He knows South America. He knows North America. You know, I think he'd do fine. So we'll see. But other than that, I will take and see you guys later. And hopefully you guys have a good day. And stay tuned for some more videos. I'll probably be doing one later tonight for tomorrow. So anyways, I'll see you guys later. Bye.